Listen, sometimes things don't go quite right. But what you gonna do? You're gonna complain, or you just gonna just get stuck in and make it happen? Do you
Are
know what
you
I mean?
gonna
Like,
complain,
come on.
or are you gonna grab the situation by the scruff of the neck and just move on? All right.
Get me
Get cracking and cracking.
So
like
basically,
Messi today.
yeah, like Messi just took the game by the scruff of the neck, brought Barca through. Anyways, we're back. Yeah, some throughout the past like year we've kind of been missing because we became a bit disillusioned with the state of football. Uh, in particular, I can speak for me and Travis with regards to Arsenal, but football in general just didn't really feel the same. But Seb's here as well. Seb, what was your reason for kind of falling out of favour with football over the past like year or so? Why we've been so silent?
Yeah, I mean, for me, like, obviously I'm a United fan, for those who don't know. But, like, yes, United have been doing all right. We're second in the league, got an FA Cup final coming up. But, I don't know, man, the style of football is not quite the same. Like, it's not been the most exciting to watch United playing this season. So I've been watching, but, like, it's not with the same interest that I would have maybe, under the Fergie years and whatnot. And secondly, for me, like, just the money in football is taken away from like the passion of the game a little bit, man. Like it's all a bit fantasy at the moment in terms of the astronomical figures that we're hearing in the game right now.
Yeah, Travis,
Yeah,
what are you
like
saying? What's your main reason
yeah.
for kind of why because we used to cover various different games. People might just be like, "Well, how come you guys stop doing that?" What's your take on that?
Yeah, I'm just part of falling out of love with football has got a lot to do with Arsenal, really. Like how they, I just feel that we're very stagnant at the moment, and it's just been we were repeating ourselves quite a lot, especially when we were doing our review. It was just the same old, which got quite boring. Like I'm sure if like you follow any Arsenal fans, or you've got Arsenal friends who are Arsenal fans, or your barber's an Arsenal fan, you watch Arsenal fan TV or whatever, it's all the same comments over and over again. So we just thought, John, instead of just saying the same things, we'll give it a break. As for football, I can't. I'm a working class lad. Like I can't relate to all this money. Like I'm not interested in. These fees are just so astronomical. I can't comprehend. I can't even go to the game. It's all expensive. What can I relate to? I can relate to passion, heart, desire, like 11 men fighting to like get the result to, but it's different now. I can relate to characters. Like interviews are boring nowadays. I have got no care in the world to watch a post game interview by a player. Do you know what I mean? Like it's all been quite boring. So like how many characters do we have in the league currently? Not many.
Yeah. What do
Like
you think
Troy
about?
Deeney's one of my. Was I was gonna say? I was gonna say like Troy Deeney's one of my favorite footballers in the Premier League because he's so 90s with it, early 2000s. Like I can relate to him and his story, and he's just seems like just a genuine guy. Like we need more of them people in the sport.
What do you think about the future of football? Because like I'm disillusioned with the fact that football doesn't. It, it's not something that it used to be. Up until my early like to mid teens, it's still, even though it was becoming extremely commercialized, it still had like player loyalty. It still had passion from not only the fans but the players through through each compartment of the club. It like clubs had identity, they had a culture. I feel like that's all been saturated now because of all this foreign investment, which has kind of taken the heart and soul. It's kind of like gentrification, but of football. Like it's taken
Mm.
the heart and soul and replaced it with money, and money can never replace organic, authentic, like thoroughbred culture within a club, innit? So what do you think that the future of football is? Like are we gonna return like can is it even possible that we can return to the working class, the working man's sport, which it completely is not right now? Can it return to that?
I
It's
don't,
just
I don't
I
think
was
it will. I don't think it can return to that. But what I do think will happen is where these fees inflated it's got to burst at some point, whether it be some ruling that comes in, or just like clubs come with you, like rising, like we've seen over the last 2-3 years going forward.
I didn't hear you, Seb, for like 10 seconds.
Nah. A robot then. Like, it sounded like some of these football players after a match when they're all like, oh yeah, oh we got 3 points and
Yeah, repeat that if you can, Seb.
Yeah, what? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, you're coming through clear.
Yeah, I was just saying, like, I feel like in terms whether the passion and the working man side of the game can return. Like, I don't think it will get back to that stage. I think that's gone now in terms of the money that we've seen in the game. But in terms of like where we can go from now, I do think in terms of the high figures that we're seeing, it's got to burst at some point. Like, there'll be some sort of like grounding. Whether that comes through some sort of ruling being put in place about the money being spent, or clubs getting together and saying, look, like, we've got to draw a line at some point. Like, something's got to be done.
You say that, but there's so much money in football, bruv. Like, there's so much money to be made as well by the superiors in the sport. Like, why are they going to stop that? Like, I don't see how the financial fair play is a myth because that don't really do anything. Like, I can't see how on why they would stop the money. Like, I can only see it getting worse. Like, soon we're gonna have $1 billion player, you know.
You know what though?
Yes.
What we're saying right now is a Premier League problem primarily. Like, I'd be interested to know what fans of lower league teams might say, like the Rochdales, the Oldhams, the lower league teams. Do they feel this, or are they still fully connected to their team? Like, I would love to see if there's been any inflation to their ticket prices. Do they feel a disconnect with their club? Like, I would love to know that. That's interesting because, like, I don't know. I do love football. So yesterday I went to go on. On Friday I went to go and watch my friends play their game. I loved the game, and that was just raw passion, fight, like, and I loved watching it. But I don't really feel it when I'm watching Premier League football.
Yeah, man. Like, the player loyalty.
So I think at the roots, I think at the grassroots, it's still the game we love. Maybe the key is like maybe watching your non-league team or something like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. For me, the commitment side of things, like not knowing whether footballers genuinely care about the club or whether it's just just a next step or a financial decision. For me, that's dead, man. Like, if you can easily take a player just because you can offer them more money, that's not anything to brag about. If you're part of that, if you're a fan of that club, that's terrible, bro. Like, that means that the identity side of football is just lacking, at least at the highest level, at least at the Premiership level, is what we're referring to now. Like, the identity, the relating to core values of a club, man. Like, I want it to be where a player could be like, you know what, I don't even suit that club. Like, I suit that club. I suit here, bruv. They echo my values, innit? Like, that's what I want. I was gonna
say to you guys. Obviously, us we're friends, innit? So we know each other on a personal level. We know that we all have our own things going on in our lives, and things like that will get in the way of football. We're just older. We're not 12 years old anymore. Where we're not like 9 collecting sticker books and football's our whole lives. We got other things going on. So that's a reason why. But like, I also know we've all kind of replaced it with our interest in other sports as well. Like, why is that? What's the reason for it, really? Like,
so sports like boxing and MMA have taken, like, I don't know. I mean, for us in particular, it's taken a lot. I think, like, we don't see a lot of. Obviously, you got the Wilder and AJ situation, but besides that, you don't see a lot of money being spoken about. It's just about the fighters and and the event.
The characters. Like, I think, yeah, you're right. I feel like I can relate to a lot more of these like fighters and like combat sport than I can with footballers, which is weird. Like,
because they're allowed to express themselves. They're allowed to express themselves.
Like, you see a boxer do an interview in their period. Like, your boxer will do an interview nowadays, and you get their real personality. But you don't see, all you see are generic interviews on these like post-match interviews and whatnot. You don't get that in boxing.
Man, like Jordan Henderson just talking bollocks after a game. Like, where's your emotion? That's what I really like Troy Deeney. I watched a really. Have you guys seen his interview with True Geordie recently?
Nah, I've not.
Nah.
He's done. I'll post it to you guys after. He did a half an hour interview with him recently, and within 5 minutes, I was just like, "This is probably the best interview I've ever heard of current footballer." Like, he went into everything. He's just spoke about. Like, I'm just gonna send it to you, but it's just like if more footballers spoke like him in that interview, like I think we'd be in love with the game much more.
Yeah, man. Personality
much
is
more.
lacking.
Like,
Personality is lacking, bro. Like, and I cannot see it improving, innit? Like, players are not really allowed to express themselves. I can't even blame them wholeheartedly, but it's just boring. I don't want to see a post-match interview with a footballer, man. I don't want to hear what you have to say. What are you gonna say? You know, we tried hard.
yeah.
You know, we have to respect the other team. You know, just because they've been in bad form. Like, bro, I don't want to hear that.
I want Harry Kane to take the mic off the interview, look directly into the camera, and say, "Yes, I'm gonna do this every season.
Bro,
30 goals every season."
I want
That's
Harry
me.
Kane.
Like,
I want
him
Harry
to
Kane.
do that.
I want Harry Kane to slap the cameraman. I want him to. I want Harry. I want Harry Kane to slap the journalist for asking stupid questions, bro. Like, I want to see. The other day I was watching the Charlo brothers in boxing, and they're getting interviewed, and the journalist just asked like two questions back to back, which were like, they weren't even bad questions, yeah. But for him, he probably just got annoyed at the fact that he was asking them, and he was just like, bro, like, what are you're asking me stupid questions, bro? Like, why are you asking me that? Like, I want, like, his personality came through in it. Like, we could see him, we could see the sportsman. We're invested in the character. Football,
Yeah.
it lacks that, innit? And it's all being replaced with. It's all correlating with the more money and the more commercialism that goes into the sport, the less character, the less personality and passion that gets sucked out of it, bro.
Yeah, for sure, man. But that's where we've been, innit?